The unknown journey. They are going to have to be very, very careful with how they go about doing this next bit. There will already be a huge, and I'm going to go and check now, but there will be a huge number of people pissed off by this ending. People that wanted a remake of the original game, you know, graphics, expanded story, yeah. Up until chapter 17, they got it for the most part, with the odd bit of, you know, spooky, ghosty weirdness. But that ending will lose them a lot of sales, I imagine. There will be a lot of people feeling betrayed and let down and angry at that. Doesn't bother me particularly. Because as I said right back at the start, I've got, and I think I've been saying in the description for most of these videos, I've got no massive attachment to the original story of Final Fantasy VII. But that being said, I don't like promises being made to remake a game and then so definitively departing from it. I mean, don't get me wrong. The setup that our characters find themselves in isn't much different from where they were at the end of Midgar. But they have deliberately ensured that the events, the rather beloved events of the original game, aren't necessary. They don't need to stick to them. And I think that's what people wanted. Also, did Jesse make it? I'd like to know whether Jesse made it. And I'd also like to know what happens with Zack. But yeah, this is Nomura, isn't it? This is, you know, alternate timelines, time travel. I don't know. I like the idea of taking your fate into your own hands. And I think with another story, that'd be really cool. Although maybe it wouldn't have as much emotional impact. But the fact that it's Final Fantasy VII, you know, the game that got millions of people into the Final Fantasy series, the first 3D Final Fantasy. I don't know. I think that's a big risk. Anyway, things I loved. I love the story. Right up until the end, I'm torn on the ending, but up until that point, love the story. Graphically, excellent. I think the music has been amazing, outstanding. The expansion of the story has been great as well. I think the side quest may have been a little bit paddy, but you know, you had to get your full price somewhere. The combat... No, the systems in the game, I think, are really good. You know, the menus, the inventory, the materia system, the weapon skills, SP, AP. Love all that stuff. The combat itself, it started to click after about 30 hours in, but realistically speaking, that's too late for combat to be clicking. There's... I don't know, there's something about the difficulty curve, I think, that does not sit well with me with the combat. There are too many stun-locking, juggly attacks, and the way certain attacks knock you out of your hard-earned ATB moves. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. The game was much better, I think, when I discovered that option to make the switching targets independent from the right stick camera. Much better for that. Although I think I should probably have left on the option that makes the camera switch direction according to target, though. Although, to be fair, I was getting annoyed with that as well. There was some really, really good stuff in this game. It's certainly not Game of the Year material for me or anything like that. It was good, but it was very frustrating in places and a little bit unfair, I think, in places. I think it could have done with either another balance pass or to make certain things clearer from towards the start, because those early boss fights versus Reno and Rude, yeah, not a fan of those. The Roche stuff went on for too long. Find it interesting that he's just disappeared. Jesse, love the interactions with Jesse. The expansion of Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge's characters I thought was excellent, because we got no time with them at all in the first one. I do find it interesting that Biggs has survived. I will be disappointed if Jesse hasn't, because they're clearly setting Jesse up to be an interesting character. More so realistically than I think Biggs and Wedge. You know, she had the best moments, realistically, of the three. Wedge had some cool stuff too. Biggs, I feel, was underutilized. But maybe that's why he survived. Because he did die, didn't he? In the original. So yeah, I'm intrigued as to where they're going to go, what they are going to do. I will be happy to see what happens. I just think there are going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be happy with what has been done. Nomura has a bit of a reputation after his Kingdom Hearts stuff for being a hack and a guy that has some great ideas but poor implementation. And I knew that going into this. I didn't think he was going to shit on the established canon quite as much as maybe he has done. I don't know. Torn. Really, really torn on the ending. Intrigued. Don't get me wrong. As I said, I love alt timeline stuff. But part of me feels bad for the people that have been crying out for this game for so long, only to seemingly have the rug pulled out from underneath them, narratively speaking. I think they are going to have to hit some of those story beats. They can't avoid. Yeah, I mean, clearly they're not going to avoid Kate Sith because they've shown him already. You know, Reeve has been a prominent character in a way. They can't. Interestingly, actually, I think this is probably the first numbered Final Fantasy, apart from the very first one, that doesn't feature Cid. I don't think he was even mentioned. Was he in this? But maybe because this is a remake, it's not an issue. I know Vincent is a much beloved character. So again, all the stuff with the mansion basement where we find Vincent, I think that's got to happen as well. There's a lot of potential for what they could do, but I do think they are going to have to tread very, very carefully. Because this is not, as far as I'm aware, it's not just this remake plus one other game. And it might be. But I don't think they can fit the rest. Well, they can't fit the rest of the original plots in just one other game. Not based on, you know, what they've done in this. That wouldn't work. They could condense it. They could cut out some stuff, but then again, people are going to feel let down more than they probably already are. I don't know. I think I've said my piece. Really? Great story, expanded all the way through. Not so sure about the ending for the fans. As a writer myself, I don't like stories being rewritten, if I'm honest. Especially not by somebody who's not the original writer. I hope there's some improvements to the combat. I'm wondering how, and I've said this before actually, I am wondering how they are going to take forward the systems in the game. No, do not need to enter power save mode, thank you. Yeah, the systems in the game. You know, swapping out party members. Is it going to be a thing, or is it going to be more like what we've had through this, where it's going to be more linear, with some open world bits, but with set party members at all times? Because we've had no option for whom to take and when. They can do that. As long as they give us... I think as long as they give us more materia to fill things out. And more importantly, how are they going to carry forward any kind of progress? You know, are they going to reset everybody to level 1 at the start of Final Fantasy VII reconstruction, renegotiation, rejigging? Because that's going to leave a lot of people feeling robbed as well. I mean, what's the point of putting in a load of hard work in this game if you're not going to get to carry any of it forwards? I believe the level cap's 50, so it's not like you can get like super high. But by the end of Midgar in the original game, you were what? Level 12, 13, 14, something like that? Because it was only a tiny, tiny section. I've forgotten Yuffie, haven't I? I always forget Yuffie in terms of characters. Obviously, the Wutai angle is going to be an interesting and important one. I don't know whether Rufus has got quite a thing about Wutai as his dad did. But yeah, Yuffie, Vincent, Red 13, Kate Sith, Sid. That's everybody, isn't it? That's every non-playable OG character. We'll see. Yeah, I am intrigued as to where they go with this. And I will play it, especially if they tweak the combat a little. But I do kind of feel like they will have already lost a lot of potential sales through the choice of that ending. We'll see. I mean, it's Nomura, isn't it? Expectations have been met, I suppose, in that regards. I'm really interested now, though. Now that I've finished the game, I can finally go and see what people have been saying. I've been avoiding YouTube, except my own kind of YouTube back end. I've been avoiding YouTube. I've been avoiding Twitter for the most part. I've been avoiding, the normal gaming websites. But I'm now really, really intrigued as to what people have been saying and just how angry there are people that are going to be, And I don't think it's going to be a vocal minority either. I think it's going to be a very hefty amount. But I, for one, and I think I've probably said this, and I am filling time here, I appreciate. I, for one, am intrigued as to how they are going to tread the line and work with those threads, because all of the threats from the original game are still in place. We've still got Sephiroth, who's taken Genova. We've still got Rufus and Shinra and Heidegger and so on and so forth. We've still got those issues. The potential for a Wutai conflict is, I think, higher than it used to be, because I think they've put more on that. And I'm intrigued as to what they're going to do with Zack. I don't know whether that was just an alternate timeline of something that's happened and ripples have gone out that Aerith has seen. I kind of feel like by changing what they have changed, they have created a divergent path. Destiny trophy earned. Destiny's Crossroads. Chapter selection. Cannot take screenshot now. Thanks. Chapter selection has now been unlocked. Open the main menu options and press System Chapter Selection to replay any chapter from the beginning using your current character's weapons and materia. It's a great way to tackle uncompleted quests. Well, we did all of those. Find story elements you missed the first time through and more thoroughly explore Midgar. Hard difficulty. No. Can be selected by going to chapter selection, playing one of the chapters. Items cannot be used and only HP is restored at rest spots. However, that's where the other manuscripts are. A record of your adventure can be viewed from System Play Log in the main menu. This log contains information from battle records to story branches. Other new features, you'll now earn twice as much XP and 3 times as much AP, so that's where our endgame materia grind is going to be. New combat simulations in Hojo's lab in Chapter 17. And the bike minigame can now be skipped from the pause menu. That's a shame. I wanted to do that multiple times. So, 38 hours and 53 minutes. Be advised that if you return to the title screen without first saving your game data, you will be unable to use this data in subsequent playthroughs. Play log. Battle intel reports completed 18 out of 20. Coliseum challenges completed very, very few. Odd jobs 24 out of 26. Those were the side quests. So we missed 2. How? Missed some enemy intel. Missed a lot of enemy assessments. Missed an enemy skill. Manuscripts obtained 7 out of 56. Cloud's dresses, Tifa's dresses, Aerith's dresses. Yeah, I thought that would be a thing. Chapter 14 resolutions witnessed. 1 of 3. Huh. Which was chapter 14? Can't remember. I'll have to check that. Anyway. When replaying a chapter using chapter selection quests and story data will be temporarily reset. You'll retain all acquired collectibles such as music discs and manuscripts. Completing a chapter will update your previous play data, but switching to a new one midway through will cause you to lose your current progress for that chapter. And is that how many? So it shows us the things that we missed in the chapters. Some manuscripts can only be obtained in hard difficulty. That really wants to play as hard difficulty, if I'm honest. There we go, folks. Final Fantasy VII Remake. It has certainly been an interesting experience. I guess we'll have to wait and see where it goes. Hope you've enjoyed watching this playthrough. Apologies for the technical issues with the sound in one of the earlier episodes. Feel free to hit me up in the comments with your thoughts on the game as a whole, the combat, the systems, the characters, the expanded narrative, the ending. Bet there's some choice things for people to say about that. I look forward to seeing what you all say. Until next time, folks, thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Cheerio. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.